Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Ryan with Propelio. Today we've got two awesome people from San Antonio. We've got Marco and Hillary Romero. They've driven up all the way from San Antonio. If you follow them, you've probably seen a couple of their things on the road trip here. So welcome to the studio. I believe what we're going to be talking about is how you bought 20 houses in 2 years with like little to zero experience / no money.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
Is that kind of got it?
Yes.
Similar to what I was talking about? Well, first of all, so who are you? How did y'all come to get into the business? What is kind of your backstory?
Well, I actually have been in real estate for a while. I've been an agent for almost a decade now, and I started out actually going to Lifestyles Unlimited.
Okay, we know those guys. They're good people.
Yeah, they're an education mentor group, and they were actually just opening an office in Central Texas, so San Antonio. And at the time, I was going to a bunch of seminars, and I went to one of their seminars, and I was like, wow, I need to get involved with them. So I became a member, and I was so involved and so really truthfully annoying to where they asked me to
always asking questions.
I was always like in there, like sending them these long spreadsheets of properties. I was like looking at.
But is that annoying, or is that just being aggressive to get education, get information?
I think it depends on who you ask. But in either case, it worked because then they came to me and they said, hey, why don't you become an agent and service our members? And so I was already a member, but I was like, hey, this is perfect. I can do work in real estate, get paid, and then also be learning at the same time. So I was always in the investment side of real estate, but I was working as an agent. And I did that, which was a great way to leverage the experiences of other investors and learn how to do investments. I eventually became a wholesaler and was wholesaling for a while, and then that's when we met.
And before I met Marco, I didn't know anything about real estate other than I liked watching HGTV. So
That's the same thing, right?
Same thing, yeah.
So when I met Marco, I was like, you do what? Wholesaling? Is that legal? Like I didn't understand it because he didn't go anywhere to work. He just worked for himself, and I was like, okay, I'm going to work now. Bye. Like, you know.
Here's where I like to throw in our daily disclaimer. I'm not an attorney. I don't believe y'all are attorneys. So if you think the legality of wholesaling, you go research that and contact your attorneys.
So
it's a daily joke.
Yeah,
it's like, we're not attorneys.
It's just funny because when I met him, I just did not understand anything that he was doing. So it took some time for me to like understand. And I mean, I pretty much, as dating or starting to date him, I just became immersed in the real estate world as well.
So dating real estate people gets you into real estate?
Oh, she got sucked in. It was like a black hole.
He told me about the books he was reading, and
She tried to run.
No, I didn't. But I did definitely immerse myself in it. I read the same books he was reading, and I really wanted to understand and figure out how we could build our life together. So that was really interesting to me.
Well, that's cool. Going back to the real estate side, you were already being an agent. What do you think the learning curve was to go from the typical real estate agent-ing to, oh my God, there's this whole other field of investment side?
Well, I went into becoming an agent with the mindset of I wanted to be an investor. So like the whole reason I even was going to those seminars is because
You thought that was the path that you're supposed to go?
Path. Well, I wanted to be a real estate investor and I wanted to be a businessman. When I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad a long time ago, that was something I wanted to be. So I was always looking for that path. I didn't know how to get there. I was stumbling my way there. But then when that opportunity arose and I was able to become an agent, I felt that was a wonderful opportunity to get paid, be able to live on money because I was young and didn't have much money. But like I said, leverage the experiences of other investors, notice how they looked at properties, how they assessed properties. When they went and looked at rehabs, I wanted to be there. As an agent, I had the perfect opportunity to do that. So it was just like a great way to exponentially learn, and so I really took advantage of that.
Yeah, one of the guys that works here at Travion, he's a video guy, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in real estate, but now he's like fully immersed, and he's already throwing out Craigslist ads, already going out on appointments, already trying to throw out sub-2 terms, doesn't know what it means, but he's throwing it out there. But I think there's an element, that's what it takes to go out there and do it.
Oh, for sure. Immersion.
Immersion, exactly. Immersion is the key. As far as the lifestyles path, like what was the timeline there? Was it like, okay, I'm a member for a few months, now I'm an agent for a few months, or is this like a 10-year curve?
So it was kind of a long time frame. I joined them right around like 2009 time frame, maybe a little bit earlier. And I was a member, I was their middle level member and challenge member. And I was that for probably like 4 or 5 months. And then like I said, during that 4 to 5 months, I was like at all their events. You know, I was I was on the younger side, so I had a lot of time, no money and a lot of time. So I was just there as much as I could. And then they asked me to become an agent. I was probably an agent there for about 2 or 3 years. I was their top agent. I was like selling all their properties for that office. And then, like I said, ended up becoming an independent wholesaler, and then we got together. And then once I was a wholesaler, I did a lot of properties, and there was one particular company in town that was the largest buyer in that central Texas region that I was wholesaling a lot to. So then they came to me and asked me to run their acquisition team.
Okay.
So then that was kind of its own thing. I was independent, and then I had to decide if I wanted to join a company, which, that was something do I want to go back on that path? But I eventually chose to. I thought it was a great alignment and overlap of our goals. So I ran their acquisition team. We had up to 9 people at one point and just constantly buying properties.
So real quick, what is the market like in San Antonio? Because I know in DFW, you've got thousands of people out there, and there's a lot of competition. And even yesterday, we were talking about like what the typical buy rate is and what what percentages people are paying at. Like because I know in Dallas, typically wholesalers are selling at 80 to 82%, if not more. What are ARV minus repairs?
Right.
Like what is the San Antonio market right now? Is it lower? Is it higher?
It's lower. I would say the range is 75 to 78. There are situations where you're selling at around the 80%, but there's still a lot of investors that are wanting at 75 and closer to that 70 magic number. But for San Antonio, compared to other markets, maybe not as hot, but if you compare San Antonio to San Antonio's past, this is definitely the hottest time for sure.
So you hear that, Dallas people? Go to San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio, we're affordable.
Here, we'll
not.
We'll only
Just
sell to you
kidding.
at 80%. Right? So as far as, I think I got off track asking what the rate is. I was just curious of my own curiosity. So you joined that large group. Are you still with them now? Did Hillary go, hey, let's go independent now that I know what's going on too?
That's what happened.
Well,
Is
he
it
was
really?
working a lot of hours, and I was definitely not happy about that. But I didn't make that decision for him.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because I moved into a position where I was employed, and then she was employed. So we were at a place where most people are, where your husband and wife, or you're a couple and you both have your full-time jobs, but you want to be a real estate investor. And then we came to a decision to where we decided to do it full-time together.
The reality is after you get home from work and on weekends, you really don't have that much free time. And we tried to do it all of 2014, I believe. 2015. I don't know. It was 14 or 15. And we just tried and put a lot of mailers out there, but we really just didn't have the time to.
Well, it's hard to take a buy call when you're in a conference call for work, and
you have to move really quickly on these deals. So
absolutely.
there was just really no way we could do it with full-time jobs.
And it goes back to the immersion. It's like even if you are immersed in a real estate world, your duties are there.
Right.
Like even here at Propelio, I do housing on the side, but my full-time job is Propelio. So if I need to go look at a house, well, guess what? I need to either make arrangements with Daniel or go that night or wait till the weekend. And if you're doing that, guess what? Marco and Hillary, who are working full time, they're like, yeah, I can go see it right now. I'll see you in about 5 minutes, right? Okay, cool, bye.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work. So, and I think that goes back to you need to know your place in life or where you're at. Are you ready to take that plunge and go full into real estate? So I know you say it's his decision, but I see the twinkle. So you decided to go full on.
We got engaged and married in 2015, and I already was planning to quit my job anyway because I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I was really good at what I did. I was a project manager, but we had just made that decision together that I was going to quit and possibly get back into art. I have a BFA in art, and that's my first passion. And so I was already quitting. And then we got married, had our honeymoon, and on our honeymoon, he looked at me and said, I want to quit my job too, and let's do this together. And I was scared but excited at the same time.
So the original plan was that she was just going to quit, and then I was going to maintain my job, and then just bring in the money for us. But then we went on our honeymoon. It was a lot of life changes.
We got married, went on our honeymoon, found out I was pregnant.
Yep.
Like,
And
I
quit
quit my job. He quit,
so if we're going to do it, we did it big.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it, if you find out that you're having a baby, quit your jobs, folks. It'll work out.
Yeah. Well, we're still trying to find out.
It worked out for us, so but it's great because also too, you have to really think about it too, like in terms of we're a couple, and a lot of people don't like working with their significant other or want to be with their significant other all the time, but we're together like 98% of the time,
right.
And we really work well together.
And you say that, but I think in the real estate world, the husband, wife, the girlfriend, boyfriend, the couple thing is very, very prevalent. Like, because I know
to other fields for sure.
Well, yeah, because and we talk about here all the time. It's just like the amount of hours that you have to put into it. It's like current person I'm seeing right now is like second date. I was like, by the way, we could be on a date, we could be romantic, whatever, but if I get a call, I'm taking it. And it has nothing to do with my affection towards you at all. That's the business. And I think
so. You prepped her early.
You have to, and I'm sure you did the same thing with Hillary.
Yeah, he was always on the phone. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making something happen.
I'm like,
okay.
They're not other girls, I promise.
Right, but my point being is if, and we told somebody who works here the same thing. It's like if you have something in your life that's not prepared for that, then either the business has to go or that person has to go, and it just is what it is.
It's true.
So you have, because real estate, like you said, is full immersion. So as far as strategies go, you brought up wholesaling. Is that what y'all as a couple jumped into feet first after your honeymoon?
Well, after the honeymoon, after we decided to quit and we officially quit, she had already quit her job. Like her last day was like the week before our honeymoon, so that was strategically planned. Then when we went on the honeymoon, I threw the curveball and said I also wanted to quit. So after that,
and then she threw additional curveball.
That's right.
I'm pregnant.
We already knew. We actually knew we were pregnant, like because
that was kind of the
we got
spurring
married
thought
and
for
then
me.
we took our honeymoon a month later. So yeah, it was very quick, and I just found out like a week before that I was pregnant, so we knew.
Which we had
we had an all-inclusive honeymoon, and I couldn't drink anything.
They
which was really frustrating.
literally walked us into our hotel room, and they were like, "Okay, so here's your
Everything.
hotel bar. You could drink every bottle empty, and we will come in and fill it for you for free." And she just like,
Can I
was like,
have some orange
tear
juice?
coming down.
Yeah. I was like, this is just terrible.
Yeah. So we came back. I quit my job, and that was right around November. So we decided, okay, we're going to take the holidays, focus on family, and take that. And then January 1 is when we were going to really go at it. And so the initial thought process was we would jump into wholesaling just to bring in quick money. But we actually bought our first property December 31st, so the day before our official, we were going to get started.
Well, let's talk about it. Where did you find that lead? Did you get from another wholesaler? Did it just fall into your lap?
Where did we find that lead?
That lead was actually on MLS.
Oh, okay. So you were actively searching MLS for deals as well.
Well, like I said, we were taking the holidays to focus on our time, but
Which means working.
yeah, but
Yes, it's always
being in
working.
real
We
estate,
still work.
even when you're on vacation, you're still
Right.
looking a little bit. So I was getting a little bit of a head start, and I found this deal on MLS, and we went and looked at it, and this was actually in one of the worst areas of San Antonio, but because it was in one of the worst areas, it was one of the more affordable houses.
Right.
So, the initial game plan was to wholesale, to bring in quick money, but we also knew for us to acquire, to build our own portfolio and get passive income, we needed leverage. We needed to be able to leverage to be able to get as many as we can, but get the ball rolling as quickly as we could.
So as far as wholesaling an MLS deal, is it mainly just because maybe that realtor?
Well, we didn't wholesale it,
Oh,
we bought it.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
just saying,
you
because
gotta buy
I
it.
thought you were about to say you're going to wholesale MLS deals. Is the competition in San Antonio not looking at MLS for deals?
Well, we did do that a little bit too, but when I started on MLS, I was looking for any deal I could structure anything.
Right.
And this one is just one that we ended up getting.
And he was a good negotiator. I think the sales price was $45,000, and he negotiated down to $30,000. So we already.
Well, it was in a bad area
I mean,
of
but
town,
still,
so I had a
that
little
What
bit
was,
of
the,
leverage.
what was the ARV though?
It's like 75.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
a 3-1.
Okay.
It was actually the nicest 3-1 though in the area.
Yeah.
And
For-
did y'all fix it up and flip it?
We fixed it up and we owner financed it.
Okay.
We didn't like put a lot of money into fixing it up. I mean, it was pretty good when we bought it. I think we replaced part of the roof and did some electrical work to it, more of the structural items, and then pretty minimal on cosmetics.
Yeah, it was in good enough shape cosmetically on the inside for that area, and so we just focus on the structural items like she mentioned, and then we owner financed it.
And do y'all still have that in your portfolio now, or did they all
No.
cash out?
No, we sold that one out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that one she hated, not only because of the
Ugh.
area, but it was our starting point.
So
That was our
where
starting
did
point.
you get the money for that deal? Did you have a little nest egg, or did you get private money, hard money?
So it's the only deal that we ever did a partnership on.
Okay.
Since then, all of our private money have been loans to us. But with that one, it was actually a friend of mine that I had known for a long time, who my friends knew I was very into real estate. It was a topic of conversation frequently for me. And so I had told him, when we decided to quit, I was started planting the seeds with people. Hey, if you ever considered investing in real estate, we're going to be looking for deals next year. If you want to, loan to us or partner with us, let us know. And he basically raised his hand and said he was interested. So when this deal came around, we had him walk through it. We talked about the numbers, our plan, our strategy, and he said he would be willing to partner with us. So we structured it where he brought in the money, we brought the deal, all the work, and everything else associated with it.
Marketing and everything for it to put somebody in there and took care of all the nitty gritty stuff, really.
Yeah, we'll deal with all the fleas. He didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good nugget for anybody watching. And Jason Riney, one of my buddies up here, he's always been saying, it's like, as soon as hey, I'm making this mental decision to be a real estate investor, let everyone know you're an investor. Because that helps you on the buy side, because maybe Joanne's cousin's sister's brother may have a house they want to sell, or maybe your buddy Bob has money and wants to invest in you. So as soon as you make a decision to go out there and do it, if people, even in Facebook or just in your network, don't know that you're an investor, you are not actively doing your job marketing yourself. And that's another thing we want to say is you're a marketer first, a real estate investor second. So that ties into it to where, hey, let people know what the hell you're doing, because you never know what may come of it. Like your first deal we had a partner who was a friend who's like, hey, here's some money.
And that, that came from a conversation we had months before that, but really conversations I've had with him for years, just going, just hanging out and talking about stuff. But you're exactly right with that point. A lot of people skip that step of not letting everyone know because they're embarrassed or scared, or they don't want, to taint their image or whatever it may be. But if you don't do that, you're not setting yourself up for serendipity, and you don't know what situations in which somebody knows somebody, or somebody would be willing to lend because there's been a huge life change that they haven't shared with anyone yet.
Yeah.
By doing that, you set yourself up for future success, is ultimately what you always need to be doing.
So skipping ahead, you said that was your first deal that was your only deal you've ever partnered with.
Right.
And now you only use loans, private money. So you did that deal. Are you actively marketing? How are you getting deals? How are you doing the marketing to get deals, or are you marketing?
Okay, so, do you want to?
Well, a lot of it, kind of like what you said, a lot of it is just touching everybody and telling people what you're doing. So Marco has been cultivating relationships with a lot of people with private money for a very long time. And so he, some of these people that have private lent to us have known Marco for 10 years or something. And so he reached out to all of them and said, this is what we're doing it full time. So we got a lot of our money for most of our properties from certain people that he's known in the past from Lifestyles, from other networking groups. And so that's really, I mean, you have to figure out where your funds are going to come from first if you're not planning to use any of your own funds. So really that's like the first key, because if we don't have funds, then we aren't buying. There's no point in looking for properties unless we're going to wholesale them.
And on that, there's always a common saying. It's like, if you have a deal, you're going to have money, because a good deal finds money, or money
Right.
finds a good deal.
Right, exactly. So we always make sure we know where the money is going to come from, who's ready to lend when we find a deal. Then we're always looking for deals, whether, like Marco had mentioned, whether it's one we take on under bill of buyers and we purchase and put in our portfolio, or if it's one we wholesale out.
So, you know, the title of this segment was the whole 20 houses, 2 years, no money. I know I can answer my own question here and say, oh, it's mainly because you both quit your job, you went full immersion, and you went for it, you know, just went all full speed. So other than just and I always say this, but I hate the whole, you gotta do the work, the rah, 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 but it's kind of true.
It's very true.
So I mean, what was the trajectory? Was it 80 hours a week, 100-hour work weeks? Like, I mean, if you're newly pregnant in this timeline, like, how do y'all go from, hey, we just did our owner finance deal that we found on MLS, to really doing it big?
I mean, to be honest with you, we don't have a lot of free time, but you have to really sacrifice at the beginning. And
We're still sacrificing.
we're about to start our third year, and we're still sacrificing and skipping this party or going